Welcome back to another video. Now, it would be very much unlike me if I did not find the things and post the things because I always somehow find them and want to tell you guys first. Today, we are able to create an appointment generator that is a paid appointment type. Now, they're no longer calling it appointment type, so I don't want to confuse you guys, but we are going to be creating an appointment such as a discovery call or booking call that someone can pay directly before proceeding to actually get to book time. I'm really excited because this was in the talks, but there are obviously some prerequisites that we have to do first. And I want to give you guys the full walkthrough of that. I've already created a video on booking forms and also on calendars itself and how the functionality works. So we're going to just jump into this in itself. This is going to be located inside of calendar and generators. Where I am right now is simply on the, let me wait till it loads, on the add appointment generator screen. And then instead of it looking like a free appointment like this, I switched it over to paid appointment, which gives me some information here. There are prerequisites. One of them being to set up your gateway first, and I'm going to show you how to do that by going to your office and then gateways. I like using Stripe. You can also use Braintree or Authorize.net. I would not recommend using PayPal, but you can use PayPal as well for one-time payments. And once you've set that up, the next thing you want to do is set up your actual item. So you want to go to settings. It's the easiest way to kind of get to it. But you to go to settings here as well when you're in that same screen and go over items. You're going to create the item that's going to be associated with an appointment type. I'm going to call this test call. And you know there's a reference name that's behind the scenes and a public title that's going to be in the front. And from there, you can add all of the descriptions that you want. You can make this one time. I have not tested this to see if this is going to be an association with a subscription plan either. So just keep in mind that we're just testing this out together. I'm going to make the rate $15 and I'm not going to change anything else. And if you guys didn't know, when someone pays for an item, you can actually set up for once it's paid that an automation happens. You can do it from an invoice level, estimate level, and proposal level. So that's really cool as well if you didn't know that. The other thing we want to do is go back to, and you want to also make sure that we've integrated our actual calendar because a lot of people don't integrate their calendar and then they just get free booked links. So I have two-way synced my Google Calendar, but you can also two-way sync your Microsoft Office. Once it is synced, you want to refresh the data so that the data is live. You can only do that one time a day. And when you're done with that, let's go back to the calendar and I'm going to just refresh it because I want everything that I just did to take action. So we're going to start with the top layer here. So the basic appointment information, we're going to call this test call because we're just making a test one here. You can add a public description. You can also add a success message, but what I noticed is that once you click over to paid appointment, it takes away from the success message and the button. So those are two things to note. You also would then have to make sure you have the available gateway set up. And then you want to invoice title it. So I'm going to call this test call booking invoice. I could customize it with some dynamic fields. I don't need to, but it pulls from all the placeholders that are available in that set there. You can set the currency. I'm in the United States, so I'm setting it there. And then the $15 that I associated with that rate that I created is here. You can also add a discount if you wanted to and you pre-created it, but I don't see why I would add a discount to an appointment unless it's like on a special occasion where I'm like, this is going to be a strategy call that was normally $1,500 and now it's blah, blah, blah. You can add tax if you want to. The assignment and notification settings are standard. So you'd make sure that you assign the default person you want, and then you can also have an additional person be notified as well, and persons. So it's based on your staff amounts. Your styling is custom as well. and then you can set an icon if you wanted to, and you can make it visible to all your contacts or just show it to specific circles. And you know the name of the game here. You have to save it and keep editing to make additional changes to the other sections. Once you have done that, you're going to go ahead now and set the baseline availability. So if you have set your baseline availability, you don't need to adjust any of this. But if you want to set individual availability, obviously we'll make adjustments. You want to set the duration of the actual meeting, and you want to set the overall padding time, standard time intervals, and the prep time, such on. I like to do everything as well on the right side. So I like to do the styling, again, confirming that I have the right styling. I set up my notifications at the same time. You have specific notifications for the staff, for the target. And if you guys hadn't noticed, a lot of people don't really set up their target notifications, but I never like utilizing the standard ones because it has like the username instead of the first name, but they did add recently some placeholders that I think benefits everyone. And you can customize the actual email itself with the placeholders that are in the body. And that's always fun to do. And then you can hit save if you wanted to do any additional notification settings like the reschedule or cancellation you can. I'm also going to look at the limited ability of availability. So if I wanted to make this look a little bit busier, I could. And then again, the baseline availability is where we are currently. If I wanted to auto create a meeting after someone books this, which I highly recommend you doing, I'm going to get that set up for Zoom. And I'm going to hit save so I can be able to save this. So when we go back out to the space where all of the appointments are listed, you still need to activate it, but you can see that the pricing option has changed now to being paid instead of it being free. And I'm going to set this as active so I can actually utilize it. Now, obviously, there's no way to like share this link. Like you don't have like a link that you can do. But I wanted to touch bases really quick on certain things that I've found very helpful that in a future video I will make a bit of just details on. For example, a follow-up generator. If you guys are not familiar with follow-up generators, they allow you to have certain types of follow-up triggers that goes out for yourself and your staff. And I think it's helpful because you can link it. So let's say that after the call itself, you wanted to follow up in 4 days. Like it's good for sales processes. And then also, if you want to do target reminders would be again set for the notifications that the person gets. You can do those here as well. I like to do everything from the actual settings itself. So I default it so I don't have to do that um, per appointment type or appointment generator, but it gives me the ability to do that one time as well as the staff reminders. So those things are all set up now. And because again this is new, we're going to hop into the bookings page to actually set this up in forms. I feel like I should have some whole music right here. Be-doo, be-doo. So, as Forms is opening, I want to let you guys know that we are so excited to take on so many new things. And if you guys haven't taken a look at our recent packages, pause, take a look at them. All right, so we're here at the Forms section and I'm going to create a form. You notice that it does not change in terms of the booking form. It doesn't say paid, and there's no additional forms. Before, for paid appointments, we would actually utilize a checkout. But now I'm going to just go straight to the booking form because my assumption is that we're just going to select that same appointment generator and it should be paid. So let's set this up together. And now I love these pop-ups because it gives you the first capture of how to do things. But we're going to set this up for the test call. And what we're going to also do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make all the adjustments accordingly. So I've done the type, the form type and title. I've done the form footer. I skip normally because I don't need anything there. For the booking options, I'm going to just add the one appointment generator that I need. And you can see that it pops up here perfectly. And if you wanted to add multiple ones, which I'm going to test this out, you're going to be able to do that. And this is going to be so fun because now I can change the way that I have my forms. Normally, I had them where they had to pay a certain amount after they booked, but it's fun. If you didn't know what these are, basically this is saying, do you want the assignments to actually, and the assignments are here, these appointment generators to share the actual automations, or do you want them to be individual? Meaning that I can have individual automations that trigger after it's been booked. And so if you wanted to have your target utilize a different type of process or a different circle, you wanted to add them in, you can do that. And that is all fun if you want to separate it. I don't, so we're going to leave it the way it is. So I have one paid and one free because I want to test out how that looks. I'm going to do a cover photo just for the fun of it. I don't think I have anything that's like ready made, but we're going to do, let me see what this one looks like. We're going to do this one, or yeah, we're going to do that one. So I'm going to use this one for the sake of having this hair. And then I can also change the background colors and all the things, but sometimes it's hard for me to do this because I need to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the blanks here. I'm going to add just a photo of myself. And then coming down, I'm going to go down and add in the name, which is going to be Marie Lewis. I can add in these other options here. Like I can say founder here. I can do the booking text if I wanted to do website. And then I can add my website link here to make it easy for people to click and see. I can also do an about section, and I can title this About Us. Oops, I'm over here clicking other keys. So we can call this About Us. And I can say, this is all the things. And then I can also have a booking section title where I can say, book accordingly, or whatever I wanted to put there. Of course, you know the form block and validation and order settings where you're able to add the form questions. I always like to reorder it. You are defaulted to the first, last, and primary name, but the actual company name is optional, and you can prevent them from switching over to individual, or you can customize it to where they are only using that as a target. You can also create a company that's not matched. You can do all the things there. And then coming down, excuse me, you can also add other custom blocks if you wanted to, and that's a signature block. So sometimes you want people to sign agreements directly before they even do anything else. Or you want a choice block where they're making a choice and then a specific automation is going to trigger. Or an HTML block where you want to add text or videos or embeds. That's always fun to add. The target fields are available, contact fields, company fields, and the project fields. Now, this is again the form assignments and automations. This is where we talked about what happens when a person actually successfully books. That role itself would be what we assign here, who they're assigned to as a coordinator, the circle itself that they get added to, if anything at all, and then you have the other automations that you can set. Remember that the role itself does change some of the factors below. So before you didn't have generate project, but at the prospect level, you don't have that. At the client level, you do. If they're doing a paid session, baby, they're a client. But if not, they're a prospect. And so you have the ability to adjust that. You can add checklists accordingly. You could do onboarding flows. One key thing that I like to tell people is that if this is the first form that this unknown target is filling out, you want to make sure that you set that welcome flow first, because you cannot set it anywhere else, because every other form that they fill out, they will be an actual known target. You can also select different LMSs here if you wanted to give them access to that. You can even give them portal access at the same time. So going down, if they're a known target, meaning that they are essentially someone who's filled out a form before, then you would have the ability to go ahead and take a look at the different assignments that you can do with the different automations as well that you can trigger and giving them the ability to get portal invitation and also making sure you get that email as well. And then you have the last option, which is sending an email notification once things are solidified and done. And you can send it directly to the target. You can actually do, which I find really cool, do a custom user, which people don't know exists right now. So like maybe it's somebody who doesn't even need to be like somebody who's not in your address at all and you want to send them. We've used this in cases of like if you need it to be sent to your like your accounting software, whatever the case is, we can add that custom email here and it can send to them. And that's that custom space, or you can send it to someone internally here. You can also obviously send it to the target with the subject and the body, and you can then make that a form that they get as well. I'm going to delete this because I don't need it. So I like to save it and I like to do all the next steps. So one of the key things that a lot of people don't realize as well is that with a portal invitation, if you immediately are giving them access, you do have the access to give them a custom portal invitation notification. This is an old one, so please excuse how this looks. But you are able to customize this at this level, and this does not change your default at all. This just is for the specific form. So if they were to fill this form out and they were to get portal invitation access, this is the invitation access that they will get. So you can customize this. We do this for different scenarios, such as if they're filling out a tax form and they need to get specific information about onboarding for tax, what the next steps are, things like that. We always like to do. So the next step here would be for us to just see what it looks like. I'm going to go over to this link section, but I'm going to open it in a new window. And before I even see the preview, because I know it's going to look crazy, I'm going to grab the link because I like seeing what it looks like in real life. So I'm going to put that inside of another space here. And so this is what it looks like. I'm not going to do a lot of customization because honestly, it's not really what I need to do. But the whole gist of this is to see exactly how the two operate. So this is for the free call, right, that I have. And then this here is for the paid call. And so what I'm interested to see, what I'm interested to know is where they actually pay. So it looks like it's very simple. Once they actually click on the time, they have a confirm and pay. But if I were to click on the free one and I click a time, there's no confirm and pay. So it's a very simple process and it looks very straightforward. And I'm so grateful that Mike has finally released this and that I'm able to do a video on it. But you can now see that me putting all this information in, it should take me to the confirmation space and it also has a checkout feature at the bottom. So it allows you to see that that $15 is due at that one-time charge. And I'm very interested to know if it would work also for subscriptions as well. We could test it if you want to. But if I wanted to do the free version, I'm just going to show you that for the sake of showing you. You again will have the ability to see the confirmation. Very streamlined, very easy. And again, you can customize the link as well as you can also have a default space for the alias. So if you wanted to have an alias, this is only going to work if you have your domain set up. So you can have that alias set up there. If you wanted to make this embeddable on your website, you can pull that link. If you want to have something provided to them as a success message after they book, if you want to redirect them after they book, which I like to do because I actually like to redirect you to a page that thanks you. And if you want to change some styling, for example, if you want to hide the form titles and the default things here, you can as well. That was so simple. I don't even know what I expected. I think I expected it to work exactly the way it did, but I also didn't know that it was going to be so easy to just build out. And I did it live with you, and it took the 20 minutes or so that you're watching this video. But remember that with anything within the system, you have to do some prerequisites. Now, I want to again shamelessly plug in that we do a lot. And so this is our website. We are here to support you with SuiteDash, but we also do back-end operations and full admin support. And if you haven't been on our website before for the SuiteDash page, you will have some options to just go ahead and select what type of needs you have. Even if that's for you to fix your current process, we do workflow sprints that are done in 2 weeks. And it's a very low end cost because we do pre qualify you before and make sure that we can help you set up your, like, just refine your process. You do need to make sure you have a process already in place. If you're working through an onboarding process and you want to literally just have the booking, the segmenting, the actual update, the proposal, and the onboarding process done for your client, we do that as well. And then if you're having a tax process and you want to do that, we have like a build out for that as well. Those are separately built out. And then the complete build out itself starts at 3750, and that is going to include all the things that we've shared here. But everything we do is custom, so we talk you through it. If you wanted to do some training, because SuiteDash can feel overwhelming, but I promise you it is something that you can learn. You are able to also book some time here. And if you want to do a 1 hour training instead of the full 2.5 hours, you can do that too. The difference really is that we do a working with you session. So it's done with you where we're in the same time of working through the training, we're guiding you through the setup, but we're not implementing anything. We're just walking you through the entire setup. And then the 1 hour training is literally us going through each module, telling you what everything is. I've helped set up so many systems, but SuiteDash is one of my favorites. And I always love them because we really love doing all the things. And maybe if you're interested in just having someone who knows systems and knows all the things, we also do what we call an on the go strategist. It's just someone who helps with technical questions and other things like automation or tech support. It is very much so very useful for a lot of people, but like I said, we have a surplus of things that we do, okay? We have a lot of support that we provide. So please, 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 please know that we're here. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.